First today, the idea of being broken into can often be a worry, but have you ever thought about what you may do if it actually happened to you?
Well, our next guests, John and Susan Headington, were woken up by an intruder, but when their prized train set was at risk, they decided to take matters into their own hands.
And we're pleased to say John and Susan are with us today. Now, this all happened back in November. You were both asleep, and Susan, it actually woke you, didn't it, around 1 a.m. Tell us a little bit about what happened on that night.
We were fast asleep, and the intruder threw a brick through the kitchen door window. But I didn't fully wake up. I just thought my husband was going to the bathroom.
Well, you're sort of unaware, aren't you?
Yes,
I make that sort of noise.
Very loud in the loo.
When you go to the loo, it sounds like a prick coming through a window.
I do indeed.
Oh my goodness me! So obviously you were disorientated. You're asleep. That's the last thing you expect to happen.
Yes.
So then what did happen after that?
Well, then he had made his way up the stairs and was making a rustling, obviously, through the landing area. And then he switched the front bedroom light on. So when he switched the front bedroom light on, I thought, John doesn't turn the light on. I thought, what's he doing? Turned over and saw that John was still in bed with me.
Gosh.
That's scary.
that is very, very scary.
I went, what? And I jumped up. Oh, my gosh, there's someone in the house.
Yeah.
Put my dressing gown on, run to the bedroom door and peeped around the corner just to see if... And he was going into then the room that was where John's railway is.
So let's pause that part of the story
Yes.
and then explain what it was that was in the spare bedroom and why it was there. Because, John, you worked in the railways when you were up to, what, 15?
No, yes. I was on the railways, yeah. I went straight from school onto being a pass cleaner.
Yeah.
Then I worked my way up to pass cleaner, then I worked way to fireman.
Yeah.
Until you're 19.
Until, well, until I went in the army, 19.
And you went to Korea.
Oh, yes.
What were you doing in Korea?
I was an ambulance driver,
So
amongst other things.
In the war in Korea as well.
Yeah.
Which is quite it's an important little factor because of something you said to the intruder, which we'll also come to in just a moment. So you decided that, obviously, you know, you got your army life, you came back out of your army life, and you got into model trains. And as, unfortunately, when your first wife passed away, you sort of lost interest a little bit.
Yes.
And then you married Susan.
Yes.
And the interest in trains was rekindled.
Yes.
And you allowed him to put his train set in the spare bedroom.
Which is very kind of you.
Yeah, well, I didn't really think about allowing him, but yes, I just thought, well, yes, that's a good idea, you know, because...
He knows, he's laughing, he knows how kind that was.
It's something he's always enjoyed, and, you know, I like
that.
the steam age as well, even though I wasn't actually around with all of it, it was almost gone, but I loved just looking at them all when you've been around.
So what have you... you brought some of your trains here today.
No, they're locomotives.
Some of your locomotives here today.
The train is what they pulls.
I knew I was going to trip over. I knew I was going to trip over.
I'm so glad it was you.
The train is what it pulls, the locomotive.
Well, I don't know why you're telling me. I knew all of that. It's a locomotive, yes.
So what have you actually got in the spare room? What's the setup?
Oh, I don't know.
The railway station.
Well, I've got a mainline railway station.
Yeah.
I've got a farm, goes over 6 lines.
Oh, wow.
So it's the top. So what I do, I keep my spare trains and engines in that.
Yeah.
So that I can draw out a different train any time I like.
Yeah.
Right.
So basically, that's it.
Well,
but the animals on the farm don't mind. And
6 lines is quite noisy, I would have thought.
It's quite big. It's quite big. Yes, it's a big area.
So there are trains in there that are very special to you. There are trains there that are very, very difficult to replace. So back to our story, and there's the intruder. He's in the spare bedroom, and he comes out and he's got trains. You decide that you are not going to let him get away with this. And so what happened next?
Well, prior to that, I said to John, I woke John up because he was still asleep as this intruder was going into that room.
Oh, it's so frightening.
So I shook him awake, said, get up, put your dressing gown on. We've got a burglar in your railway room. Stay there. I'm going down to phone the police because we didn't have a phone upstairs.
Right, yeah.
We've rectified that now.
Yeah.
But so I ran down the stairs. I got hold of the emergency services and the operator and put through our details twice before he then, I heard, come out of the room and say, "Get out my way," you know, quite like that.
Me, yeah.
And John went, "No." And I mean,
so you could hear this. You can hear this going on from downstairs.
Yes, and then I'm saying, "Oh my God!" And then I heard the confrontation, if you see what I mean, because John, well, he'd like to probably go on through that, had got hold of him because he charged at him.
Yeah,
right.
So there was a scuffle on the.
Yes, he said it twice, and then he charged at you. So do you want to carry on?
Well, he had the carriages close to himself.
Yeah.
By this time, I think he dropped some of the other engines which got being repaired. He grabbed them to his chest, and he ran at me. So basically, the sharp ends of the carriages were towards me.
So he cut you?
Yes, I had several cuts.
What you didn't realise, I don't think, at the time, you found out a little bit of time later, that he had a knife.
Yeah,
we didn't know that.
Yeah,
no. Thank goodness you didn't know that at the time.
Yes.
Goodness.
So he did he fall down the stairs?
No.
No. What happened was I was wrestling with him for a while, and he was stamping on my feet and pushing me, but I was able to hold on to him.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, he's like an eel. He slipped down through me. Yeah, because he slipped in. Yeah. And he slipped through me and got up and raced round the corner where the stairs go down. Yeah. So I followed him round, grabbed hold of him again. Yeah. And by this time, Susan was on the phone downstairs. Yeah. And so he turned, my back was to the wall and the stairs were there, as it were. And he stepped down again. So it's a pretty steep stairs, and I thought to myself, well, fall backwards, you blighter. That's what I thought. I mean, I must say, I'm not very good like that. And he didn't, and he went down. Yeah. But by that time, he got down to Susan. Yeah. Susan's there.
Well, how did you get him on the floor, Susan? Well, because it ended when he was finally caught. You were both sitting on him.
That's right, because what had happened was, as he came down the stairs, I was looking at him and I thought, you know, I don't like the fact that he's got into our house and what does he think he's doing?
Yeah, and you don't want him to get away with something like that.
No, and obviously I knew John was still upstairs, but I didn't know anything else. Yeah. And he started trying to pull the phone out of my arm. Yeah. Oh, no. You know, because it was an old-fashioned one with the wire onto the back. Yeah. And so I was going like, get out of it, you're not... and not gently, of course. Yeah. And the phone did get broken in two, and he ended up on the floor, and I said, right, you're there, you're staying there.
And you literally just sat on him.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, I have to say, that is so brave, because I often, like I was saying before, you often wonder what you would do if you were ever in that situation. Yeah. And I don't think my instinct would be to wrestle or fight. It would just be, you know,
or to sit on them.
Or definitely not to sit on them.
So were you scared? Were you frightened?
No, it was the adrenaline was in, you know, in extreme circumstances you respond and you don't know how you're going to respond, but that's how we did. Yeah. And then John then was coming down the stairs. Good, Susan, I see you've got him. I'll come and join you. So John then sat on him a bit further up, which meant I slipped down a bit, but I was still pushing my feet against the telephone table to keep wedging him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I know John said to him, which you've never actually done, but you did say just to frighten him and make him know who he was dealing with. I've shot better men than you in Korea.
Yeah, well, I hadn't really.
But you hadn't really. But
I seem to
didn't know that, did
well, he was arrested, claimed to have no memory of the burglary after drinking a litre of vodka and whiskey. Previous convictions of obstructing a police officer, possessing criminal property, supplying cannabis. The judge said that Barnes' sentences were 2 years imprisonment for the burglary and extra 4 months for the knife offence. And so you are what they call a have-a-go hero.
Absolutely.
Do you feel like a have-a-go hero?
No, we didn't feel like any of it.
Never thought about it like that.
Well, we think you're amazing. In fact, so amazing that we built our own railway here. So yeah, it's just the train is just due now. It'll be coming around the corner in just a moment.
I hope so.
And it's the 10:44 from Paddington.
Oh, look, there we go.
Here it comes. It'll be round here in just a second.
It's Engage, isn't it?
Engage, is it?
Yes.
Is it? We'll take your word for that, John.
It is, yes.
We've got you a bit of a present. The Railway Touring Company in Kings Lynn, Norfolk, have donated a trip. First, you get 4-course dinner, all silver service, and it's all on us.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
And then, of course, and the railway touring
my
company.
goodness,
Yeah,
thank
Really
you.
enjoy that.
And it's been a pleasure to meet you. Thank you.
So lovely to meet you. Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
that's
Thank you.
wonderful.